Dan, now we reach the $1 million question, which is, what do you do to help our clients when they're charged with the driving no insurance?
It's a good question, John. But before I go into how we can help you, it's important to get some context about the situation that you find yourself in when charged with driving with no insurance. And probably the most important thing is to be realistic. Be realistic about your circumstances. I find a lot of times it's common for clients not to be aware of the severity of the charge and the penalties that come with either a guilty plea or being found guilty. Driving with no insurance is serious and has serious penalties. And the lawmakers have given the prosecutor really a toolbox of penalties to deal with these charges. And at minimum, you're facing a $5,000 fine plus a 25% surcharge. So effectively, you're facing a $6,250 fine. And again, if you have previous convictions, those fines can go all the way up to $50,000 plus 25%. So you're looking at anywhere up to a $62,500 charge. So there's massive, massive penalties. And there's additional penalties that are available in that toolbox that the prosecutors have. And that includes they can impound your car for up to 3 months. And they could even, in certain circumstances, suspend your license for up to 1 year. And what I always tell clients is that take a step back and think about what would a 1 year driving suspension mean to you? What would it mean if you couldn't drive to and from work? What would it mean if you couldn't do what you need to do to support your family with no car? What impact would that have on you financially? What impact would that have on your life? There are a lot of ramifications to deal with these penalties in this charge, unfortunately.
Okay, so now the big question is, how can you help someone charged with driving with no insurance?
You know, John, what's important to understand is that your fact situation is different and unique from someone else who has been charged with driving with no insurance. And a lot of times I hear from a client, they'll say to me, Dan, you know, my friend got this charge and he walked away with nothing, or he walked away with a fine of just a couple $100. And I always respond, it doesn't matter, because every case is unique and it's impossible to assess your case relative to another case. And the reality is you really don't know what the truth about what the facts were about that case. And also every court and every prosecutor has really its own nuanced way in handling driving with no insurance charges. So your case may be handled very differently in court A versus court B. And it's also really important to understand that a court date is really just one point in a timeline that really may last many, many months. And it's in between those court dates. And that's when a lot of the defense happens with your case. And that includes reviewing the evidence that the court has against you, having discussions and negotiations with the prosecutors, and critically framing your story in a way that best helps your case. And we understand that legal process in depth. We understand how to frame your story in the context of the law and in the context of the prosecutor and the justice of the peace that has ownership of your case. And we've been handling driving with no insurance charges really for a long time. We understand the legal process that you're going to go through. We understand how to fight these charges. And we understand how to navigate the complex waters as your case advances through the court system, ultimately to get you the best resolution possible. What I suggest, if you're interested in learning more, is to give us a call so we can have a discussion about your case.